What's up, ambitious immigrants? Today I'd like to talk to you about the best and easiest way to save money. We all know that saving money is important. One day your company may go bankrupt. One day you may lose your job. One day you may find yourself unable to work because you're sick, whatever the reason. So what you want to do is, while you have good years where you're making money, you want to always put something aside. And this is a desire that most of us have, but most of us don't end up really abiding to this. And there are people who've made a lot of money in the past. We have people who make fortunes, but it doesn't matter if you don't do these things. So we have people who basically made a lot of money. 3 people that I can think of. One of them, I would say Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson went bankrupt even though he was making millions. And one thing he was doing is that he made a lot of money, but he never saved, he never invested really. In general, he would get a lot of money, but he would spend also a lot. Somebody else who made a fortune, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is somebody, that we've all admired. But do you know that Michael Jackson, when he passed away, he owed $300 million? So he owed a lot of money. He was in debt. So for somebody who's made such a fortune, to me, I think he's one of the best performing artists of all time. But he died owing $300 million. So he was in debt. It looked like his life was really comfortable. But you know what? He was in a stress that most of us can't even handle. Most of us already struggle with a few credit card debts, but that kind of amount owing $300 million, that's just like, it feels like a nightmare. And there are other people, like Kim Basinger, who ended up also, losing a lot of money because one thing is that she was an A-lister at some point, but she ended up spending a lot of her money that she went bankrupt. And the list goes on and on. So making a lot of money through your paycheck is not the way to get rich, or is not the way to stay rich. The way you get rich is by saving and investing. And you want those things to have 5 characteristics. It has to be, the first thing is, it has to be automatic. You don't want to think about it. Your money comes in, it doesn't matter whether you make $20,000 a year, $30,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $1 million or more, like Mike Tyson. Always have an automatic amount that's saved. So an ideal amount, personally, I think, is 10 to 15% of the money that you make should not even be touched. So it has to be automatic. You cut that, you put it away. The second thing, it has to be invisible. When you put it away, but you keep seeing that money, what will happen is you'll be tempted to end up taking a little bit of money because you know what? The small things are a little hard. And what happens to us is that most of the time, we have an account that's easy to reach. So basically, it's easy to withdraw. We can talk to our partner and then end up deciding, you know what? This month, let's take a little bit of money because we need to pay this and that. How are we going to pay this bill and that bill? But the thing is, when it's invisible, you don't even know it's there. It's harder to touch the money. And then the third thing, that money needs to be hard to withdraw. If it's automatic, you can just take your phone and withdraw the money. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to end up making the mistake that most people do, right? So at some point, withdraw the money. You don't want that. You want money, something that's really far. In what sense? You want it to be so hard to withdraw that sometimes it may mean you need to go to the bank to do it, or you may need to drive a long distance to a small union bank, right? So a bank that's, that may not even be able to send you the money, right away, the next day. So you want something such as, a mail, a check that's mailed to you. So there are many tools that do that. So I'll get more into it, but basically it has to be hard. So they need to send you a check. You take the check, go cash it in. So all those things just make it hard for you to go withdraw that money, right? So hard to withdraw. And then the next thing is you want that money to be invested. Some of us, we put money away and then it sits there. You know what? It doesn't motivate us. You put $3,000 away. Next thing you know, it's still $3,000. Ideally, you want that money to keep growing one way or another. If you invest it well, or if it's well invested, one day it may become so much money and you're going to end up, retiring, or you're just going to have the peace of mind, the financial freedom that comes with having money that was saved in your good years. In your good years, because, like we've said, today you're working, tomorrow, who knows? The company you work for can go bankrupt. Tomorrow, you may be laid off. There are many things, or you may be sick. So you always want to have your money saved in your good years. And then the fifth thing, to me, the best one is that the ideal thing is if your money can be saved and be tax-free when it's saved, well, you save even more. So all these basically are the characteristics of the best tool out there. And most of us know about this. This is the 401k. The 401k is basically a tool that replaces the pension. The pension used to be basically you work for a company called ABC. And ABC basically will be saving your money a little bit, and then one day when you retire, ABC will take a lump sum of money and give it to you when you retire. But instead of that now, the 401k takes your money, so you invest money, but in the market. And then in that market, the money is invested. As the country does well, your money grows. And like we've said in the past, in general, most countries do better, right? So why? Most countries, the population keeps growing. And then the top companies, they tend to do better and better. In the US, on average, the market grows by 7% on average. That's the S&P 500. So the 500 biggest companies, they tend to grow by 7%. So what this means is that, and in general also, the economy tends to grow by 2 to 3% of GDP. So this means that most of the time, the economy grows, regardless of recessions, depressions. Those happens for everybody. We all go through those challenges. But overall, the economy, things get better. So when you put your money in the market, it ends up getting bigger and bigger. The last thing you want is to just save. You want to take advantage of the compound interest. Compound interest means interest on interest. And you know that. So basically, when you owe money on a credit card and they charge you interest, you know how painful that is, right? So how about you now investing money and having the market paying you interest on the money? So the 401k is a tool that allows you to do that. And what is good about it is that it has all the characteristics I just talked about. And being tax-free is the best one. And one day, if you, let's say, want to buy a house, your 401k is the best money you can use. They make it easy for you to withdraw the money and invest. It's almost, there are many few reasons why they would allow you to withdraw your 401k money. But if you need to get your mortgage, your first mortgage specifically, that money is the money that you can use. It could be your first mortgage or a vacation home. But those are very good investments for which you can withdraw the money and invest. So if you don't have the discipline of investing or of saving, or you don't have the time to really, buy books, learn more about the stock market, invest in a 401k. The 401k is your best tool. And, and ideally, ask them to pick an index such as Vanguard. Vanguard is basically a tool where in the beginning of your career, when you're young, basically, what they'll do is they'll invest more in aggressive stocks, right? And then over time, they keep shifting it to more conservative stocks and then into bonds. The bonds basically will be, debt. So they lend it to big, very good companies that, that can pay back the money with some interest. So overall, what you'll end up doing is you'll make a lot more money early. And then by the time you retire, your money will be a little more stable so that you're going to have good money to retire. So we can go into the math of it. The math of it could be, if let's say you make $50,000 a year, 15% of the money saved will be like $7,500 every year. So with $7,500 being saved every year, and then some interest on the money because the market goes up by 7%, what you'll end up with is that after 10 years, you may find yourself easily saving, something like, this is just pure like random math. It could be almost like, more than $100,000 for sure. It could be even close to like $150,000, something like that. So with that money, so you already saved, like 75,000 plus the interest on that money. So it's, you end up having $100,000 in 10 years. Most of us will be like excited to have like, that kind of money saved. And with that money, you can end up doing more. You can end up paying off, part of a mortgage. You can end up, there's just so much you can do with that. And the peace of mind of knowing that even if something happened, like you have money saved, that's just priceless. So use these tools, make it automatic, invest, use your 401k. And when you work at a company, don't just invest like 2, 3, 4, 5%, the typical default amount. Go for 15%. And when you put that much money into your 401k, what will happen is you'll force yourself to find other ways of making more, or this will force you to spend less because all you get is the 85% of the money. So with this, you'll be more responsible financially. Even though you're spending, shopping, buying things, and living a good life, you know what? You don't feel the guilt that comes with spending all your money and being broke. And the worst thing is that most people, they spend all their money and they take credit cards and spend even more, and they're in debt. And all your life, you just worry about money. So all of us, ideally, we want to do these things for like, 30 years or more so that we can have money saved, we can retire, we can have money, not just for retirement, but for peace of mind in times when, you may find yourself without a job, but you know that you will never find yourself homeless because you know what? You have money saved. You will never find yourself begging for money because you know what? In your best years, just like something we say in French, there is this thing we talk about, It's la cigale et la fourmi. So saving, like we've said, is really a powerful tool. It's an important tool, and the 401k makes it easy. The fact that it's tax-free, you don't pay any taxes on it, it's also amazing. It allows you to really save more. So take advantage of your 401k. Put money away. If you're gonna have an emergency fund for money you need in the short term, amazing. You can use your tax refunds for that if you get tax refunds, but you don't want to touch your 401k ever. The only time when you're allowed to touch it is when you need to take that money to invest into a home. So I hope this information is useful to you, and that you're gonna end up, really looking at your 401k and investing more, because this is the best and easiest way for you to save money and become financially free. Thank you very much for your time, and see you next time.